Hey guys, how's it going? Tom here, and we're bringing you a pretty sweet video today. We got my truck, this chrome bumper. I'm not a huge fan of all the chrome, even though my truck has a lot of, but I ordered something that's in that box there. For any of you that don't know this company, Move Bumpers, basically they cut out and prep everything and just send you all the pieces for like a steel off-road winch type bumper. What's really nice about this is it's very affordable, doesn't break the bank, especially if you have the ability to weld yourself. This is a great option. Something I love about it, first off, is the big Made in the USA sticker. Also now, like, they have a couple different models. What I bought it's the Prerunner Precision model front bumper. They do have rear bumpers. They also have, I believe, side steps and stuff. And for any of you that don't do or are a welder, they do offer a bolt together bumper. Now let's get to the unboxing of this beast. It's all there. All right, I'm going to take you through all the parts that basically came with this. But first off, it came with an envelope, and inside of that, they got a really nice thank you letter. Enjoy building it. Send you a nice little sticker. And then you get a packet printed out per my package. I verified all the parts. I have them all. Also, they give you instructions on this, is that you want to tack weld it together on the truck. Don't put it together and then try to fit it on the truck, because you're probably going to be pretty upset with yourself. So after you get your list of parts, they actually have renderings of what it's supposed to look like, so you can basically see how everything is supposed to go together with the truck. So first off, you have your biggest portion. This is the big center piece of the bumper. Then you have your wings right here. This would be your right, and your left's over there. Inside the wings, these will get welded in. These grooves are for the bolts, so you can mount your LED fog lights. These are your two shackle tabs that get welded on, something like that. These are your mounting plates, will come specific to your vehicle. These plates here come off of the mounting plate and they go attached to the bumper itself. Coming over here, the Prerunner style tubes come up and kind of protect your grill. These are trim pieces, are for this detail here along the bumper. Ignore that dent. That's definitely not the reason why I want to get a new bumper. So now it's time to start removing that bumper. So we're just going to get rid of this thing. All right, guys, so we got our bumper detached. So you can see here, this is your fog lamp wire, if you have fog lamps. And you're going to want to detach this, and you're going to reuse it if you're going to have fog lights that come on when you want fog lights to come on. In order to take this off, the thing is, you're going to have 3 bolts right here that attach into here. You just go up in there, they're 18 millimeter, take them off. Prior to that, you're going to want to take off this fender liner. There's a rubber piece right here, just goes into these. Next thing I'm going to need to do is get these tow hooks off. Let's get this thing out of the way. Time to start fabricating. All right, guys, something to know about when you take the tow hooks off. There's a bolt in the front. You see how there's a slot there? So that one you don't even have to take all the way out. It'll slide out once you get the back bolt out. The back bolt is also a body mount bolt. So it's like super long, it comes down to like here once it's pulled out, but you're going to want to put that back in because that goes up into here for this front end of the body. Now you are going to have to reuse these bolts that were in the bumper. They have these little things on them, so you're going to have to knock those out. They look like this. So first step, guys, is you're going to want to get your mounting plate on. So I'm doing the side with the part number stamped outwards. This is going to go just like this, and as you can see, these are slots, not holes, so this will allow you to loosen it and readjust it a little bit. So I'm going to come back here with my 18 millimeter wrench, and I'm just going to get these hand tight, just so that when I'm working on this bumper, it's not going to be moving around on me, and also I can get it off super easy. All right, guys, so the first part we're going to start tack welding on is this piece. It's got a nice L bend in it, and you can see there's a little notch right on this piece. So that's where it's going to sit. The notch should be on the grill side, not the tire side. So it's going to go right here. My truck is not parked on a perfectly flat surface, so you don't want to throw a level on this to set it up. So I'm going to use a 90-degree angle straight edge so that I know it's square. So that's pretty solid on there. The next step here is you're going to want to put this middle piece on these mounts. This surface here is going to be flat coming out under here. These are going to meet right in this corner. It's going to be kind of hard since I'm alone to be able to hold and tack this in. I do want to make sure it is centered on the vehicle. So then when we put it up, we can make sure that this line aligns with this line. Your next portion is going to be the wing right here. Last piece to weld on is the end of the wing. So now as you can see here, with the way it was lining up, the gap over here was a lot bigger than I liked it or wanted it to be. So I ended up leaving a gap down here, which I will use a thin piece of metal I can put in there as a filler. And then when it's grinded down and completely welded, you'll have no idea. But that's what they mean when they say don't put it together on a table and then try to put it in your vehicle. You want to tack it so that it fits your body lines perfectly. Now, after looking at this again, once it's on, I did notice, you see there's this gap from here to here that it sticks out, and I want this body line to continue. So I'm actually gonna mark this distance, and then I'm gonna take it off on this edge with my plasma cutter, or you could use an angle grinder even, just to cut it off and cut it shorter, so then it slides this line in line with this body line, so it continues right down nice and even. All right, guys, so now we're over here on the workbench. You can see I got my mark. See, that is about, I'm gonna call it 3/4. So we're gonna take 3/4 of an inch. Now, I don't wanna cut it off the backside because I want this part that bends in, right? So we're gonna have to remove 3/4 of an inch off all three of these edges here. There you go. So we're gonna cut this portion off right here. And all right, guys, you see my little adjustment definitely fixed the body line issue. I like it a lot better. Please ignore that big gap right there. Kind of messed up on my plasma cut. Not a big deal. I can fix that when I weld the rest of it. This side is complete with the wing and the front, but now let's get to the other side. All right, guys, we got the second side on. We're gonna tack in those pieces that go in the light holes and the trim pieces that go under the grill. And then lastly will be the tubes. These are pretty simple. They go in like this, up, behind. Basically just gonna get it to where this edge is flush. There you go, that's tacked in. Now guys, for these little trim pieces here, what I'm just doing is I'm just putting a tack. I'm getting the triangle in the right position and just putting a tack there, and I'm leaving the rest. And then what I'll do is once it's off, I'll just push it up against the back edge of the bumper plate and then weld it in place. So I'm gonna put this other one in on the other side, and then basically everything's done except for the tubing. So now for the first in the U-shaped piece of tubing here. Now this is specific to the Prerunner styles. They're the ones that come with these. This is the 1.5 inch piping. There's also a 2. I didn't like the big size, so I went with this. Basically what I'm gonna do is I got my marks an inch down from the corner on each side. I'm gonna center this, and then I'm gonna tilt it up to kind of where I want it to be. And then I'm going to take my straight edge and my marker. I'm gonna put the straight edge along the bumper and then basically trace, and then I'll just have to cut that line, and then that should fit flat against that bumper. All right, guys, so if we have our line, I'm gonna take a slice out of this. Well, I'd say these cuts came out pretty good, even, so we'll see how they fit. This is only going to be mounted in this front face. I'm not wrapping it around. So what I did is I made hash marks, find the spot where it would be best, 2 inches down from the top. My cuts look perfect, just about, enough that I can fill the weld. What's left is probably the hardest part for me because I just don't have the experience of doing it as much, but it's definitely doable. It's adding these portions. I'm gonna have to figure out the right angles, cut the bottom down onto here, and then I'm gonna have to find the right angle for this, and I'm gonna have to cope it out so it fits around the pipe. All right, guys, so basically what I did here was I just cut a really tight angle, basically holding it in place with my magnets, and now I'm gonna kind of figure out, I'm gonna trace the angle of this bar onto this bar. We'll cut that, and then we're gonna have to cope. It's not perfect, but I think it'll work. You can either do it with a grinder and kind of just trace it and grind it until it fits, or you can use a coping jig with a hole saw. Insert the pipe. Okay, I think we're ready. We've got our cutting oil so the bit doesn't get too hot. fits really nice. Sitting right about there. Look at that. That is nice. Now I have the one over there. It's just being held on with magnets. So I'm going to basically keep that there so I have a reference to make sure that this one basically comes out looking the same. Now one way to figure out this point here, but for the other one, is I'm going to measure from this bottom point, contour it around 28 3/8 exactly. That's where the top of my coping bit will hit. We got it drilled out. It's a moment of truth. So, fits great. We got both of them done, and they both are landing in basically the same spot, which is awesome. So it's gonna look symmetrical. Yeah, time to tack these in. All right, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna attach it at this end on both sides because I do need to tweak the bumper a little bit, as in I need to push this corner down and I need to pull the other corner up. So I'm gonna tack here and then push down and then do that side so it keeps it in place where I want it. All right guys, so our bumper is all tacked together. Basically, I just got it dropped off the truck, took out the bolts. We're gonna take this thing, put it on my work table over here, weld up all the seams, grind it, sand it down smooth, get it ready for being finished. I got some Bondo too, so any little teeny imperfections, we can use that to give it a really nice, clean, crisp lines, and not that bad. Now for these trim pieces, remember how I just tacked them right where the triangle needed to go. We'll bend this up, tack it as we bend it, and then we'll cut them because they're overlapping. Hey guys, so next morning, stayed up super late just getting this thing all welded up. So basically what they spoke about is it's up to you to do reinforcement. So I took it upon myself. I had a lot of scrap laying around, and I'll show you what I did. So by no means is some of this pretty, but it works and it'll hold. So that's really what matters. So for example, here I got some extra pieces of plate steel. And if you come under here, I welded in gussets, because this piece has no support other than that top flange of the L. So I decided to put in a triangle gusset on each of them. So when it comes to the insides of the seams, I just did all at the ends, at the joints, and then some periodic welds throughout. So my next step, now that I'm ready to prime this, is I want to prep the metal. So what I'm going to do is just use my air compressor. I'm going to go all over the whole thing and just blow any big debris off of it. Following that, I'm going to take some acetone. Rubbing alcohol would probably work too. Something to make sure you can get all the oils off and have a nice clean surface that your primer will bond. So as far as primer, I bought some Rust-Oleum. It's automotive primer, sandable. And then following priming, I will be then going around touching up with any Bondo if I need to. Alright guys, well this concludes my video. It's been about 6 days since I finished painting this bumper and then got it mounted on. I wanted to see how that steel it would actually cure up, and let me tell you, it is actually really impressively durable. Do love the bumper, love the look of it on my truck. Got those white accent shackles for it, as you can see behind me. Got my LEDs in it. Love the product, a lot of fun making this, and I hope you guys benefit from this video and enjoyed it. We'll get some more DIYs coming your way.